Friends, it's time to continue in our reading this morning of First Kings. Thank you for joining us for this. So, as we always do, let's start by looking at the big picture. And remember, as we look at this, First and Second Kings, historically, originally, were one book. These are now divided into two in both Christian tradition and Jewish tradition. And here we are in this section right here, which reminds us that the stories of the kings really are the stories of the kings and the prophets. This began in at the beginning of chapter 17 of First Kings. It will go through chapter 8 of Second Kings. So for the remainder of our time here in First Kings, we're right here. That's not that far. There are 22 chapters, and we are at the opening verse of chapter 20. So 3 chapters, including the one that we start to read tonight, and we'll be done with First Kings. In the first half of this section, our focus is on the prophet Elijah and his interaction with King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. There's been this dramatic showdown between Elijah, priest, prophet. Yeah, he, at least for this moment, has had a priestly role. And the priest of Baal, he has run for his life to Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai. He has had this encounter with God in midst of silence or small whispers, depending on how you read it, how it's translated. He has had an initial interaction with Elisha, who has left everything to follow him. And so Elijah and Elisha are now together. But Elisha's story, although it overlaps with Elijah, really is not Elisha's until after Elijah is taken up in a whirlwind. The chariots of fire image, which is in Second Kings. So here we are, starting chapter 20. And Elijah continues in his prophetic ministry now with the assistance of Elisha. We'll be reading from the left-hand column, which is the complete Jewish Bible. In the right-hand column, you see the text as it is found in the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition. So we've got a Jewish Bible and a Christian Bible side by side. There are some discrepancies at times. Just keep that in mind. Like looking ahead, we're coming up on another spot where the versification doesn't agree between Jewish biblical tradition and Christian biblical tradition. You'll see when that pops up, and I'll highlight that. But more importantly, Jewish biblical language names for persons, places, and things doesn't always match up with our Christian biblical language. So, from time to time, I will explain using the right-hand column what these things are that we've heard in the Jewish biblical language that perhaps doesn't sound familiar. Good morning, Linda. Let's read. Now Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, rallied his whole army. With him were 32 kings beside horses and chariots. Then he marched on Shamron, Samaria, and laid siege to it. He sent messengers inside the city to Ahab, king of Israel, to say to him, "Here is the message from Ben-Hadad. Your silver and gold are mine, also your wives and your best children are mine." The king of Israel answered, "Just as you say, my lord king, I am yours, along with everything I own." The messengers returned and said, "Here is Ben-Hadad's response. I sent you a message to hand over your silver, gold, wives, and children to me. But I am going to send my servants to you tomorrow around this time. They will ransack your house and the houses of your servants, and whatever they see that they like, they will seize and remove." Then the king of Israel summoned all the leaders of the land and said, "Please take notice. Do you see how this man is trying to make trouble? First, he demanded my wives, children, silver, and gold, and I denied him nothing." All the leaders and all the people said to him, "Don't listen and don't agree." So he said to Ben-Hadad's messengers, "Tell my lord the king, I will do all that you asked of me the first time, but this I cannot do." The messengers left and brought word back to him. Ben-Hadad then sent this message to him: "May the gods do terrible things to me and worse ones as well if there's enough dust in Shamron to give each of my followers a handful." The king of Israel answered, "Tell him he who is putting on his armor shouldn't boast as if he were taking it off." It happened that Ben-Hadad received this message when he was drinking, he and his kings, in the field barracks. He ordered his servants, "Take up your battle positions." So they got ready to attack this city. At that moment, a prophet approached Achab, king of Israel, and said, "Here is what Adonai says." Remember, that's the general naming of God without using the sacred name, which is in use in the Christian Bible in the capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. That is the sacred name, transliterated from the Hebrew letters, presented in English as YHWH. Here is what Adonai says: "Have you seen this vast army? I am going to give you victory over them today. Then you will know that I am Adonai." Achab asked, "Who will defeat them?" He answered, "This is what Adonai says: the young men who serve the district governors." He asked, "Who will start the fighting?" And he answered, "You will." He counted the district governor's young men. There were 232. After that, he counted all the people of Israel. there were 7,000. They set out at noon. Ben-Hadad was drinking himself senseless in the field barracks, he and the kings, the 32 kings who were his allies. The district governor's men went out first. Ben-Hadad sent for information, and they reported, "Men have come out from Shamron." He said, "Whether they have come out for peace or for war, take them alive." So the district governor's men left the city, followed by the army, and each one killed his man. Aram fled, and Israel pursued them. Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, escaped on horseback with some of the cavalry. The king of Israel went out and attacked the horses and chariots, inflicting a massive defeat on Aram. Afterwards, the prophet approached the king of Israel and said to him, "Go regroup your forces and think carefully what to do. For next year at this time, the king of Aram will renew his attack." Meanwhile, the servants of the king of Aram said to him, "Their God is a God of the hills. That's why they were stronger than we were. But if we fight them on level ground, we will certainly be stronger than they are. Also, do this: remove all the kings from their commands and put professional officers in their place. Then recruit an army as big as the army you lost, horse for horse and chariot for chariot. We will attack them on level ground, and we will certainly be stronger than they." He heeded what they said and acted accordingly. At the same time, the following year, Ben-Hadad mustered the army of Aram and went up to Aphek to attack Israel. The army of Israel, already mobilized and supplied, went to meet them, but the army of Israel, encamped opposite them, looked like two herds of goats, while Aram filled the land. At this point, a man of God approached and said to the king of Israel, "Here is what Adonai says. Because Aram said that Adonai is a God of the hills, but not a God of the valleys, I will hand over to you this entire huge army. Then you will know that I am Adonai." They remained in camp opposite each other for 7 days. On the 7th day, the battle began, and the people of Israel killed 100,000 soldiers of Aram in a single day. The rest fled to Aphek into the city, and the wall fell on 27,000 of the men who were left. Ben-Hadad fled into the city and took refuge in an inside room. His servants said to him, "Hear now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. If it's all right with you, let's put sackcloth around our waists and ropes on our heads and go out to the king of Israel. Maybe he will spare your life." So they put sackcloth around their waists and ropes on their heads, went to the king of Israel, and said, "Your servant Ben-Hadad says, please spare my life." And he answered, "He's still alive? He is my brother." The men took this as a promising indication and seized on it to say, "Yes, Ben-Hadad is your brother." Then Achav said, "Go and bring him here." Ben-Hadad went out to him, and Achav had him climb up into his chariot. Ben-Hadad said to him, "I will return the cities my father took from your father. Also, you can set up markets for trade in Damascus, as my father did in Shamron. If you put this covenant in writing, said Akav, I will set you free. So he made a covenant with him and set him free. We're going to pause there, friends. Next time that we pick up First Kings, we'll resume right here at verse 35. Peace be with you.